I remember the first time I said that I was a feminist. Everyone in my class was putting a lot of efforts to suppress the uncomfortable look in order to be polite. A guy tried too hard but tragically failed. The muscles on his face were fighting each other, and his eyes were twitching, as if I was about to raise up and scream, "Kill all the men!" then punch him right on the face. God knows I'm quite 90% of my life, and I would have killed myself before I kill anything alive. I wasn't expecting so much hatred for this word feminism. I thought really hard to figure out the origin of the misunderstanding when I was typing that word into Google search. The first thing pumped out was its definition, which was the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. And Wikipedia said the same thing. Okay, so I didn't use the wrong word. It was somehow weak but seemed nothing negative to me. As I continued my research, I found people's hatred was far more intense than I thought. Almost became a rage. I clicked on the page Women Against Feminism, where a middle-aged woman held a whiteboard written, "I'm not a victim, and I enjoy serving my men." Well, that's fine to me if that's your choice. Another younger woman said, "I don't need feminism because I'm not a man-hater." Well, neither am I. I began to wonder why they just didn't bother reading the first sentence of Wikipedia. It is ironic to me that the most furious oppressors of gender equality were always women. I can't help thinking of the picture of Phyllis Schlafly in my history textbook, in which she was holding a baby with the Stop Era sign sticking on his or her head. That picture was taken on the campaign against the Equal Rights Amendment in the 1970s, when most of its supporters were afraid that the changes of women's status would subvert the Victorian social structure and destroy the traditional family value. Miss Schlafly insisted that women should stick on their roles as homemakers, raise a bunch of kids, clean the house, and wait for their husband to bring home the bacon. That campaign was a huge success, thanks to the large populations of housewives who were threatened by the idea that they would have to share the responsibility of bringing food to the table, while the only thing they cared about food was to develop the recipes. Maybe people were just afraid of change, then and now. Come on, 1970s, seriously? That was when dinosaurs lived. It is 2014 now. We have already achieved gender equality and the freedom to choose how to live. We don't need feminism anymore. That's another popular argument, but are you sure? By doing a 5-minute research, you will find tons of reports about gender inequality. Those dreadful data will show you an even more dreadful fact. If you were a girl lucky enough to be born in a developed country, you would have equal access to higher education as your male counterpart, and you will do equally well or better in your schoolworks, but you will be more likely to enter low-income professions after you graduate. You will make 77% of the salary of your male colleagues for the same amount of work. You spend 18 hours studying in the library every day in college, and finally got into medical school or law school. And guess what? You will still make $50,000 less annually than a male doctor, and only got 20% of chance to hold the elective office if you choose politics. Then you fall in love and get married. You'll be expected to take 80% of the housework and get a 15% reduction in your salary. Life is hard for Western women, but it is hard for those girls born in less developed countries. In Central Africa and Southeast Asia, more than half of the girls aged 7 to 18 had never received a formal primary education. Approximately half of them were forced to marry before the age of 18, which makes them prone to domestic violence and premature pregnancy. In these areas, pregnancy-related deaths has become the leading cause of death for teenage girls. In Thailand, more than 900 underage girls were involved in child prostitution every year. About 40% of them were HIV infected. In 2012, a 23-year-old college student was gun raped and brutally attacked to death in a bus in South Delhi, India. The local politicians publicly blamed the rape victims for their inappropriate dressing or behavior, and indicated that rape was a norm in their culture. We need feminism because inequalities still exist. We have come so far and shouldn't stop believing that we can make it better. I believe she should have the opportunity to go to school and live up her dream. I believe she should have the right to marry someone she loves. I believe she can do well in any subject at school and become a wonderful doctor or a politician. I believe every girl and woman should have full control over her life. And I'm proud to say that I'm a feminist.